Let me just check there.
Welcome everyone to the Voice of Terminus Tavern Talk Show, episode 23 today. First off, can you hear us? Is our sound coming through? Here's one question we need to ask, and we hope that some of the sound issues that we had at the previous shows is fixed. So I'm here with Josh. Say hello, Josh.
Hey guys.
And again, Lex and Kodiak are occupied in real life with real life stuff, so they won't be joining us for the next couple of weeks. But what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the VR and Pantheon news. Then we're going to talk about the March newsletter that just came out last week. And then we have the official Pantheon wiki that was tweeted, I think, yesterday. I think they tweeted out that it's up and running. It's been up and running for quite some time. And then we have the latest screenshots. And finally, we'll talk about the other news, basically what we will be talking about next week. So let's go and start off with the VR and Pantheon news, Josh.
Yeah, well, there were 3 Twitter posts this last week. Basically in the last 2 weeks, should I say. First one, if you could be any Pantheon class in real life, which would it be and why? What would you be, Johan?
I'm going to go with Cleric. The fact that I could heal people and help people, I think it's in my nature to help people, so I'll go with Cleric. What about
also
you?
Bashing people over the heads with shield would also be pretty good. But yeah.
Yes.
For me, I think I'd go with a wizard.
Why is that?
But simply, I'm pretty late for getting to certain meetings and that type of thing. So to use that teleport to just bump into areas over there would be great.
Yeah.
Love that ability.
Yep. So chat. Also, let us know what you would be. You know, while we go through the show, we'll try and bring up some of these towards the end. What you guys would be in real life and why.
Yeah. And then on the 6th of March, there was a challenge. In 25 words or less, explain your single best memory in any game and why it was your best memory.
Alright, for me, I'm gonna have to go a slightly different route with this answer. For me, any single best memory in any game would be the fact of that game you've been waiting for quite some time. The first time you log in, that first experience that you take, I think that's always going to be my single best memory in any game. What about you?
I have to agree with you. I think that's definitely that. And I've had various platforms over the years. Obviously the Commodore 64, the Amiga, then going into PC. Basically the Amiga and playing there was a little game called Kickoff 2, which was a football game, and the excitement of playing other people in that game was quite amazing. But on PC based, definitely when you've been expecting a certain game for such a long time and it actually lives up to the hype now, because the hype engine is the big thing, then it really is a great feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then on the 13th of March, there was the announcement of the Pantheon wiki. So the community is also developing this as well, along with them. But we'll discuss this a little bit later in the chat. Okay, so then the newsletter.
Yep. Right. So let's go and check out the newsletter. And I'm just trying to figure out quickly, guys. One moment. Ah, there we go. Okay, chat's flying by. Josh, I'm getting some feedback from your mobile, mate.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I see it.
So apart from
Apologies.
even sound, now we have aliens in the background, and I can still hear it, dude.
Gone.
It's
Far
stopped.
away.
It's still hear it. Anyway, let me go and bring up the
Okay, give me a sec.
Sorry about this, guys. Let me go and bring up the newsletter while we wait for feedback to disappear. There we go. Oh, it's back. Don't know what that was. Is that me? Hello.
You hear me?
No, I'm getting some weird sounds coming through at the moment.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay, give me a sec.
Right, he's muted. Okay. So Josh is muted for the moment, so we'll have to wait till... maybe your battery's dying, dude. Maybe we'll have to quickly go and run this off without him for a moment. So we're going to bring up the newsletter and we want to talk about the Lawmaster, an interview with Justin Gerhardt. So I'm going to go and read through this. Bear with me. Nice one, Dark. Making an MMORPG, or any large-scale game for that matter, is an incredibly complex process that requires a diverse and dynamic team to meld its many facets into a cohesive whole. While no one member or division of the team is more important than any other when creating a living, breathing world, perhaps one of the most critical and often overlooked elements is lore. Lore is the very air of our game, the invisible force that surrounds everything and keeps it alive. The man in charge of that indispensable respiratory system for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is Justin Gerhardt. We recently sat down with Justin to gain a deeper understanding on what it takes to create the foundational bedrock that Pantheon is built upon. Most of us have been playing MMORPGs for as long as they have been such a thing, or as long as we have known about them. And our passion for the genre is what has led many members of our team to a project like Pantheon, but Justin followed a different path to the game. So this is some of what Justin had to say. Much of my game experience comes from single-player space or Star Wars themed RPGs. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, Star Wars was a big passion of my gaming and creative life, says Gerhardt. Justin was recruited to the team by creative director Chris Perkins, who knew his passion and creativity and thought he would be a perfect fit for the vision of Pantheon. We are certainly thankful that he chose to join up with us. The one common thread that ties every member of our group together is the desire to create an immersive world that begs to be explored. And his writing has certainly given us a marvellous framework to build upon as we begin our journey through Terminus. While Justin is an avid reader, fantasy novels aren't necessarily his bread and butter. I really love Tolkien, and my favourite book of his is the Silmarillion, but my favourite genre overall is the historical non-fiction, he explains. Justin's favourite race, the Archai, along with the gnome and human allies. Justin wrote for a small newspaper and had been working steadily on 2 fantasy series of his own that he hopes to one day publish. But the work he is doing on Pantheon will be the first large-scale fiction project of his career, so I'm definitely looking forward to that, I have to say. If he does bring out those 2 small fantasy series, I'll definitely give those a read. I never imagined I would ever be doing anything in gaming, but I have always wanted to do creative fiction, both science fiction and fantasy. I want to do screenplays and direct as well, so that's definitely really interesting. Maybe we might see Pantheon Rise of the Fallen as a movie one day. It's still coming through, but I don't know what it is, dude. Creating the story for an MMORPG has similarities to writing a serialized screenplay, as you continually move the narrative along and to shape the theme of the world. Justin's main inspiration in creating the lore of Pantheon was to craft something that would be interesting and meaningful to both veterans and new players alike, and would continue to be engaging no matter how far into your journey you were. One of the main Pantheon differentiators is our perception system, and lore plays a massive role in that system. It will really reward those players who take the time to gain an understanding of the world around them. If you take some time to read through the lore that has been published to date, you will begin to notice the attention to detail and how expansive the backstory to Terminus really is. which is a key component to not just making a game, but making a world. Here's an excerpt from a slice of one of the stories of the world, The First Keepings of Castigue. So basically, I'm not going to go and read through all of this, guys, but just to give you a brief insight into the background of Justin Gerhardt and how deep the lore truly is within Pantheon, that it is basically one of the most thriving, a very important factor to the game itself. Josh, are you there, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, so it seems your mic might have a slight problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go and quickly talk about the in case you missed it stuff. So they've added a in case you missed it section into the newsletter that features notes to mention. So they talk about, first off, 3 new additions or 4 new additions to the team. Here we go again. Robert Crane joined the team as a senior programmer recently. Nick Reynolds has joined as a lore historian. Aaron Thomas has joined as a web developer, and so has Jacob Williams. So we can expect a lot to happen in web development towards the website. Maybe the forums will get a little boost, and we can expect the lore to get a lot deeper. And I think Nick Reynolds is in charge of basically feeding the world with the lore elements, making it look correct and where they should be, etc. So then they have the FAQs page again. We can't talk about that enough. The FAQs have been updated, a huge update to the FAQ page with a lot of more information regarding all the systems, subscription stuff.
Definitely worth the read.
Yep, definitely worth it. Yet. And then they showed off some new screenshots from Wild's End. And last but least, their community spotlight was dedicated to Nick Hotz S in the community, the guy who basically puts out those wonderful Google Sheets that covers all the latest news in a text format, be it Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, community news, etc. So he was the community spotlight. Congratulations, Nick, and good read. So give that a read, guys. I'll link it into chat for you guys to catch up on later, maybe. And then we're going to go into the official wiki from Pantheon. So this has actually been around for quite some time, behind closed doors, being worked on. And I'm actually liking the layout. It's very clean. It's got a lot of information. It's not overwhelming whatsoever. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yep. And if you actually go on to the 434 pages, 105 articles, guys, and you click on pages, which I'm going to do here, there's a lot of stuff listed here that's already been filled out, so there's quite a bit of information. If I just go and click on, let's say for instance, Blackwood, they've also added some bit of the lore. So if you're a lore junkie, definitely check out the wiki, because they've added some new stuff that hasn't been privy to everyone over the past couple of months. There's some related stuff that we already know, but this was the first thing that basically popped into my head and my eyes, was that they've added some little tidbits towards some of the zones. So give that a read, and you can definitely find one or two other things of note. So Josh, what I want to talk about the wiki is, I've seen some people say that they find it too early to have the wiki up now. What's your take on it? Do you think the wiki should be here now, or would you rather they would have released it later?
I think it's actually a great tool to have right now, to be honest. My take is you can never have it too early, simply because it really is where they're taking all the bits and pieces of information off their website, which may be clunky to people, and putting it into one general area for people to read. So it becomes an easier source of information in my mind to go looking for stuff. And they just have to keep it updated. And they're going to have to do it in the future anyway, so there's no reason why they can't get these things done now, so that they can spend a lot of their crunch time near development, near beta development and things like that, actually working on the real issues.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. I mean, they've added all the basic stuff onto the wiki website, be it background to the lore, to the classes, to the race, etc. So having the wiki now be out there is for the community beneficial, because once we get into the phase where the NDA is technically lifted, we can start adding the important content to it and bringing this wiki forward, etc., and helping each other out. But I do definitely dig the design. It's very clean. I can definitely get behind this and help build the wiki into its greatness. So let's go and bring up some of the latest screenshots as well. This is going to be a fairly short show, guys, because there isn't a lot to talk about. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna go and read off of your comments about which classes you would be in real life and why, and we can answer some questions if you have any. But today's news show is going to be fairly short, as there is not that much to talk about. So let's go and bring up the latest screenshots, and we'll talk a bit about these as well in a bit. So I'm bringing these up onto the screen now, and that's going a bit too fast. Wow. So this one with the Wild's End, actually no, the third image that comes onto the screen with the trees and the freshly earthed soil is one screenshot I want to talk about, and the one after that with what looks like a rice field. We're going to talk about those two screenshots in particular. Because on our last show on guild housing and housing, Josh mentioned something interesting, and that kind of stuck out to me right away. I wonder if there's a cave underneath that picture with the gnome in it. So I want to talk about that image, and I'm going to quickly go and try and bring this image up. Whoops. Let me bring this image up. Let me go and find it real quick. This one first. So I want to bring up this image that's now on the screen and talk a bit about this. And hey, Sleepy. So on our last show last Thursday, you mentioned something about having the possibility to farm, etc. And when these screenshots were released, I remember those words from you exactly, and it basically just stood out right in front of me after what you said. If you read this screenshot, you've got this like wooden hut at the bottom left, and you've got these freshly planted trees on what looks like freshly planted soil. Is that the possibility of farming itself? You know, that's what kind of stuck out to me. Could this be related maybe to woodworking? Could this be, you know, like a tree school or something like that? And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. Is what do you think? Could farming be definitely a possibility for us? Maybe not in the form and fashion that we talked about on our show, but maybe from this screenshot, it definitely looks like there's definitely something there.
It does. The one thing that, well, you don't really get a real good understanding as to the height of those trees and how big them, but obviously you can see by the building next to it. The one thing that does concern me is the space available for farming, which means that it'd be quite difficult for other people to farm in the game. Whereas we know that in the past MMOs, you'd have to have huge lands, and that's something you said as well in our previous stream, that you would need. It really has to be enormous, the sizes, if you want to allow people to be able to farm.
The thing that just basically kind of just popped into me, what made me want to talk about this, was the fact that even if it isn't as big or what we expect it to be, but it's still there. The vast opportunities, the vast options we will have in game to the typical A standard go adventuring, go through dungeons, go through raids, etc., go crafting. It seems like they're putting a lot of thought into what people will be able to do inside that game, apart from the standard stuff that we all know is in MMOs. Your crafting, your adventuring. We know the perception system is going to be a major influencer in the game. How far the progeny system is going to come into play, we do not know. That's still up for discussion. How it's going to be when it's finalized, etc., if it even does come into the game, and so forth. And the other screenshot that I wanted to bring up was, let me see, this one here, which basically shows off, for me, to simply explain, it looks like a rice field with a hut of some sort, definitely a working hut of sorts, basically. And if you look, it's just outside of Throne Fast, down at the bottom. So there's definitely going to be, for me, I think there's going to be some engagement there. If you look at the lake as well, the lake goes deeper down, so it looks like it's definitely been put there on purpose, to use to do something. Exactly. So those are the two screenshots. What do you guys think about farming? Would you like to see farming as an additional feature, be it related to your character or to your crafting skills or to housing, or just generally provided throughout the game? Leave your comments in chat, and we'll pick those up in a minute. Yep. So.
But it really is promising. It does open up the door for a trade skill class on its own, if they ever did. I've yet to find a game that has a purely trade skill oriented class itself. But yeah, if they have these type of things bedded down from the start, definitely.
Yeah. Did you ever play the game called The Guild?
No.
Basically, it was more of like a simulation strategy kind of build up. You basically picked a profession, and you would go through life, trying to upgrade your town, etc., upgrade your profession, and you would trade goods and stuff like that. When I always think about Pantheon, I think about the guild from the concept behind it. You could get married in the game. You would grow old. You would die, etc., and you would leave offspring. So that's where I keep on thinking about the progeny system and how that works. And there's so much relation to some of the features the guild had that would just make Pantheon also much perfect, also more perfect. Sorry, I want to correct myself there. But like some people, like Scott said in chat as well, these are things that basically would definitely be something that they could add in later. That's the great thing about the Unity engine, the programming capabilities that they have with Unity and with today's technology. There's a lot of features that are all over the forums, that are discussed in various discords, in various chats, etc., that can be implemented later into the game with almost no hassle, because the technology today is beyond us. There's so many possibilities. We had a discussion about adding in, let me try and think, what was it? I have to go and quickly review what we were talking about. Where is it? There it was. Oh yeah, adding seasons. They were talking about adding seasons into the game that are timed, basically. Even if the weather doesn't make it into play, that's something that can be added with simple ease, with adding just trigger timers to the seasons, to the individual areas. It sounds like a lot of work, but and yes, there is definitely work with it, but it's definitely possible today. So yeah,
basically walking that tightrope of your resources versus what you can add in the game. Launch what will excite people and what will annoy people.
Yep. So let's go and talk about other news.
All right. Well.
And other news. Go on, Josh.
Okay. Well, this is the Thursday's show, which is on March the 16th.
Yep.
This will be on quests and perceptions. So we're going to be discussing things around what type of quests are they going to have in the game. Is it going to be and how perception leads into those quests. Are they going to be quest givers that are static? Do they just stand around, or do we have to go find them in the areas? These are the things we'll be discussing, as well as a perception system. Is this perception system going to be something that is going to work out properly in the long run? Is it something that we expect to be something novel? But yeah, will it work properly? Won't it work properly? These are the things we have to discuss, and I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. To quickly answer two questions before I add to that. Forum posts regarding character aging, I am absolutely not sure. I don't think there is. The progeny system, there's definitely a few posts, I think, in general chat that discuss some of the ideas on the progeny system. So we'll have to basically look through the forums, or I can look for links and provide you with those on Thursday or whatever. What I can find, you can give it a read through. But I know there's definitely discussions on progeny. Aging, not so much. We kind of talked about aging as well. We know there's games out there now that are coming and that do have aging, where your character won't actually physically die after 365 days or whatever pack you buy. I'm not a fan of it myself. I wouldn't mind being able to see my character's experience be reflected in the way he looks. So basically, maybe having a nice shiny piece of armor at the beginning, and as I rage through the world itself and conquer everything, the time I reach max level or reach that first stage of end level, you can actually see that my character's been through hell and back. Those are the kind of things that I would prefer to see rather than aging. And welcome, Wallian. So, on Thursday, quests and perception, like Josh talked about, it's definitely a topic with a lot of areas to speculate upon and talk about. We've talked about quests and perception on and off through, I think, most of our shows actually, and it is very important to us that VR get this right, and that we as a community enjoy the progression and the rewards and the way we approach quests, because quests aren't just just quests. There's so many ways you can go and design the approaches, the impacts, etc. You can create proper cool storylines with quests that even go completely out of the realm of what we normally know. Go and kill 10 of those, bring it back to the NPC, or go travel there, this, that and the other. We would also like to, talk a bit more about ways to design quests and what we could expect and how we would like to see them basically lift off, because a quest could be like a series of events happening that turn out to be one big thing at the end. So join us for Thursday when we talk about that. And next week is our 1 year show. So we've been around for 1 year, entertaining you guys, keeping you all interested and sitting on the edge of your seats waiting for the game to finally go into its testing phases, which we hope should be coming in the next 3 to 6 months. And then we'll finally get into the game and get to see it for ourselves rather than on stream. Talking about streams, we all know that VR are planning a new stream. We do not know yet when the stream is going to happen, but it is going to be coming in the next, I'm going to say, 4 weeks at least. I think in the next 4 weeks we should see another stream. I'm tipping Easter. Others have said April 1st. There's so many variations out there. So let's go have a look quickly in chat and see if anybody posted what they would be in real life. So I'm going to go and quickly scroll back.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either.
Necromancer.
Go and read that one then.
From Scott. He said he'd be a necromancer, charge a fee to let you talk to your dearly deceased.
Well, that's not nice, is it? But hey, you got to earn money. So anybody else in chat have an idea what you would be in real life as a character from Pantheon? Write it now in chat. I think we'll stay on for another 10 minutes and then we'll end the show early today. Like I said, there isn't a lot to talk about. Let me see if I can find anything new while we wait. Doesn't look like it. Yes, if you're any druid, hopefully. So Prytrum would be a druid. Why would you be a druid?
Yeah.
Why would you be a druid in real life? Or is this just related to the game itself?
No. I think he wants to the nature.
Okay.
There we go. I thought so.
So
Very
Yoko's Ender is excited for Dire Lord and Monk. Would that be your choice of real life class, or in real life the classes you would pick, and why would it be? Wallian, you should definitely check out. Tool Razor, go on in.
Says he'll definitely enchanter, bending people's wills to be a source of a lot of enjoyment.
That's definitely true. I remember I like talking to drunk people. I have to say, in real life, going out on parties. I don't drink myself. I'm actually kind of a party pooper, but I do enjoy engaging drunk people because you get the most enjoyment out of them because they're so crazy. If you're looking for guilds, Wallian, check out the. I don't know if you've got the link to the forums for Pantheon. If not, I'll provide it for you in a minute. But go to the forums. There's guild recruitment sites out there in the forums. Go through those. You'll most probably find 1 or 2 European guilds out there that might ease your interest. So Yokus would be real life. I would be a monk because just having a strong body and strong mind. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yep, definitely. I would have to put myself rather than take a plane. Definitely.
My alley there, yeah. I'd also
Definitely.
like to do that.
Yep. Open a portal and go through. Well, that's why I love watching sci-fi movies as well. I like Stargate. Just walk through it, boom, you're on a different planet. Or walk through a teleporter, boom, you over there. You remember Futurama?
Yeah.
Yep. Up in the chute and you're all over the place. So, Yeah, unfortunately, guys, like I said, not a lot to talk about. We will be changing the entire layout of the show. We went from every week now to every second week, and as of April, we will cover Tavern Talk once a month, gather all the news throughout the entire month, do one complete blog, one complete show at the end of the month. So at the end of April, the last Tuesday in April is when we will do the Tavern Talk as it goes for as of April's schedule. I should have the schedule for the next 2 to 3 months by the end of this month, so you should have at least a good week to check out our schedule for as from April to June. We will also be changing, we're talking about changing our stream days as well. We're still trying to work that out with everybody on the show. Josh, myself, Alexa and Kodiak. We're talking about maybe going for Fridays. We might end up streaming on a Friday to provide a broader coverage for you guys, because for most of us it's the weekend, and we can do a later start time, so we can cover a lot more and reach a lot more people out there. Shadow Knight, because they're so damn intimidating. That would be something Lexa would actually say.
Yeah.
I think you and Lexa would get along fairly well. New schedule makes sense. Keep it low and slow and speed up as development continues. Don't want to burn out. Exactly.
Very good.
Yep,
Yeah.
so thanks for joining us, guys. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot to cover this week. But join us for Thursday, if you can, for the discussion on quests and perception. It's definitely going to be very interesting. We have some wild ideas that are going to blow your minds and maybe make you bite your fingers off because you don't agree or whatever. But it's definitely going to be very interesting. Join in on Thursday. If you want to get in touch with us or join our Discord, join in some of the discussions we have on Discord, you're welcome to join us. I'm going to go and provide you guys with a link to our Discord server. Anybody's welcome there. It's open for everybody to commune with us and hang out and talk ideas. There's a Discord link.
Yeah, and share ideas basically on the upcoming discussions. You know, we love hearing everybody's views.
Yeah, we frequently ask every time we do a show if anybody has any ideas towards it that we can bring up and talk about. So anybody's welcome to join in and give their 2 cents. And if you want to come onto the show Thursdays, hit us up. Like I said, next Thursday is our 1 year. It's going to be an open discussion. Anybody's welcome to join us in chat and TeamSpeak and just talk about the previous year of Pantheon and talk about all the bits and pieces that you like so far. So we will see you all this Thursday. Have a good night and take care.
Alright, guys.